Welcome back, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer. So now let's talk silver. Folks, I'm going to be doing a massive silver and gold giveaway later this week. You do not, and I repeat, do not want to miss this thing. We're talking about 1 ounce gold coins, tubes of eagles given away. You're going to have a chance to win, several chances, as I'm going to be doing several giveaways as we are on the road to 100,000 subscribers. This is just a way for me to show my gratitude, share my gratitude, because I really do appreciate every single one of you. Hit the like button, comment down below. Do you want the next giveaway to be a 1 ounce gold coin and some other stuff? Or would you prefer to have a tube or a couple tubes of eagles and some other stuff? Let me know in the comment section. I'm also going to be doing the Silver Stacking podcast with Andy Scheckman later this week. He's a busy guy. I'm a busy person, but we're definitely going to continue doing that. I know you guys love that. There's a playlist of all of our episodes. If you guys don't know, Andy Scheckman is the CEO of Miles Franklin, one of the most trusted, respected precious metals dealers in America. The U.S. Mint still works with them. Remember, the U.S. Mint banned everyone from buying from them. You cannot buy directly from the U.S. Mint. You have to buy from, somewhere else that sells American Eagles, and even those companies don't have direct access. They only picked a few dealers, and Andy Scheckman, which is the CEO of Miles Franklin, can still buy from them. Miles Franklin is still one of the only few authorized dealers. That should speak for itself. Send an email to info@milesfranklin.com if you want to purchase some silver or gold. They will work with you. Let them know Silver Slayer sent you. We got some crazy stuff to cover today, folks. Former JP Morgan precious metals traders sentenced to prison. This is justice.gov talking about these banks, JP Morgan in particular, but there's also other banks that have been caught manipulating the price of silver, which is Merrill Lynch and also the Dutch Bank. But these people are getting sent to prison, folks. Michael Nowak, and also I think there's one other person for spoofing and another one for racketeering. But we're going to be going over, they actually got sentenced to prison. We're not just talking about a slap on the wrist or a fine. I also want to cover another story, though. What's hot, short covering rally drives silver higher. So it's going to be more of just like a wrap around of what's going on in the world of precious metals right now. Usually I would just cover like this article and kind of talk, but I want to make my content more of like a news source, covering all of the hottest, latest stuff. I'm just trying to innovate and keep bettering my content. So if you guys like this type of stuff where I cover multiple stories and multiple pieces of information, then let me know in the comment section. So former JP Morgan precious metals traders sentenced to prison. Defendants were JP Morgan's former head of global precious metals business and JP Morgan's former head gold trader in New York, also working on the COMEX. So if JP Morgan is a corrupt bank caught manipulating, rigging the price of silver, it only makes sense that these same people that are working on, for JP Morgan are doing the same thing on the COMEX, right? It's very worrisome when you look at it from that angle, that the most corrupt bank in the world is also heavily intertwined on the COMEX. That should be something to take note of. Greg Smith, 59, of Scarsdale, New York, was sentenced to 2 years in prison and a $50,000 fine. And Michael Nowak, 49, of Montclair, New Jersey, was sentenced to 1 year and 1 day in prison and a $35,000 fine. Now, the money's a slap on the wrist, but here's the thing. I've been covering the JP Morgan, especially this whole spoofing situation, which, by the way, if you guys don't know what spoofing is, it's basically manipulating the price of silver in very short increments. What they'll do is go on an exchange and they'll place tons and tons of buy or sell orders, right? And the tricky thing about this is they'll cancel the order before it goes through. So they never intended to actually buy any of that silver or sell any of it. They just place all these orders and then cancel them. But when you place a buy or a sell order, all of the volume on the other people on that exchange think, holy crap, a whole bunch, silver's getting bought up or sold. So then other people on that same exact exchange are looking at the exchange with false information, basically, right? And then other people will start acting off of these sell orders or buy orders that they don't know are never going to actually go through. And then they can kind of use everyone else to do what they want, basically, and then they will go in and do what they want off of the effects of that. And the tricky part about this is you're allowed to cancel buy or sell orders. So how can you prove someone has the ill intent that was never going to let that order go through? You have to look at patterns. And before 2020, it was a slap on the wrist, but I remember the specific day the judge said they were going to start cracking down more. And I remember this so vividly, mentioning on my channel when I covered that. I was like, I hope they are serious about this, because if not, this is terrible news. Who's going to want to enter a silver, who's going to want to start investing in a silver if they know that the market is manipulated and held to a certain degree? Now, I do believe, and as Ted Butler also said one day, that regardless of how many buy or sell orders they place, you can't hold back the power, the potential that silver has, right? When we're talking about even just the industrial side, right? Everything is pulling and pushing silver's price in different directions. Maybe stock market volatility is this percentage, and gold, what gold does is this percentage, and spoofing is this. But when you look at supply and demand, the fundamentals, that will override anything else. But anyways, let's keep moving on. The defendants use their positions as some of the most powerful traders in the worldwide precious metals market to engage in an egregious effort to manipulate prices to their benefit. And they've been doing this for decades. They're looking back decades, folks. And if you think it's just these two guys, you're sadly mistaken. These are probably just the guys thrown in the highway. There's probably, I can't even try to guess how many people. I know there's several different banks, so I'm sure this goes very deep, very corrupt, and I'm sure that this has definitely played a huge role in silver's price, as on paper it should be at least $400 or $500, and that's being generous. But regardless, that's where we're at right now. So this is coming from Assistant Attorney General Nicole M., and that's from the Justice Department's Criminal Division. The case reaffirms the department's steadfast commitment to hold accountable those who engage in fraud and manipulation that undermines the investment public's trust and integrity of our commodities markets. And that's so important. I'm glad they even thought to put that in. We're talking about justice.gov. These people aren't thinking about precious metals on a daily basis like you and I are, right? This is something so much bigger than precious metals. So for them to actually take note of this and focus on it and put it to light and focus on, this little blip for them on the radar, it's very, I guess, refreshing, because it was very frustrating knowing that these banks are getting away with this and they're just getting a little fine. JP Morgan did get fined $900 million, which I don't know if that's much to them. That was the biggest fine before. It was pennies to them. Now $900 million is a lot more. So that's that. But also, if you're hiding behind a desk and knowing you're just going to get a slap on the wrist for doing this, you're probably going to keep doing it. But if you know that, holy crap, I might actually go to prison, it might make you second guess doing these illegal things. So, as today's sentencing demonstrates, the FBI and its partners remain committed to investigating and bringing justice to anyone who attempts to manipulate our financial markets for their own selfish gain. They even showed some of the WhatsApp conversations between these groups, and it was disgusting how they were talking. They were bragging about it, saying, "Watch what I'm about to do," this Friday or whatever, and they would brag about it, and then afterwards they would all laugh how they just manipulated and basically stole all these people's money to some degree, as these people are investing off of a false exchange, right? The information is false because they didn't know. It's just some bankers going in and just rigging the markets, because what they're looking at on the screen is not going to happen, since they don't know those orders are going to be canceled. In order to maintain economic security, investors in equity and commodities markets must have confidence that exchanges are operated in a transparent and equitable manner, and that investments are free from manipulation and fraud. I don't think that will ever be a thing, but I definitely think this could help. Like I said, if you know that your life might actually be affected beyond just getting a slap on the wrist, getting sent to prison is a pretty big deal, then you're a felon, right? You might second guess doing these things. Today's outcomes should serve as a reminder that the FBI remains highly focused on combating bad actors conducting sophisticated fraud schemes targeting the securities and commodities markets. In September 2020, JP Morgan admitted to committing wire fraud in connection with 1, unlawful trading in markets for precious metals futures contracts, and 2, unlawful trading in the markets for U.S. Treasury futures contracts and in the secondary cash market for U.S. Treasury notes and bonds. Jamie Dimon, which is the head of JP Morgan, is the lowest of the low snake scumbag. I remember when he did the same thing with Bitcoin, came out publicly on all these news channels calling Bitcoin a scam, and that was during the 2016-2017 Bitcoin hype. And when he said that, everyone panicked and sold because they believed him. Sold. Bitcoin dropped thousands upon thousands of dollars when he said that, and then right after, JP Morgan started buying millions upon millions of dollars in Bitcoin because the blockchain stores everything publicly. We caught them doing that. Why would Jamie Dimon go in and call Bitcoin a scam and then end up right after the price shoots down by millions upon millions of dollars? These people are corrupt snakes, scumbags, right? And it's sad that we have to deal with this. But like I said, they had to pay $920 million in a criminal monetary penalty, criminal disgorgement, and victim compensation, with parallel resolutions by the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, and the Securities Exchange Commission announced on the same day. So that's where we're at with that. It's nice to see that people are actually getting sentenced to prison. A lot of people were worried that maybe these charges are going to get dropped, but they are going. Now, the second article, what's hot? Short covering rally drives silver higher. This is also some important stuff, so I hope you're still with me. This is a 7.95% rally in the past week. Silver is on the cusp of reversing all the past month's losses. Bearishness in the metal is reversing quickly. Net speculative positioning in silver futures fell 88% in the month, and that's with positioning now 1 standard deviation below its 5-year average. However, we suspect that excessive shorts were being covered in the past week, and that's actually something that we should look at. I know the micro is something that a lot of cold-blooded, stone cold stackers really don't care about, whether silver goes up or down, left, right, front, center, sideways, to the middle. I don't care, because I'm not planning on selling for another 15, 20 years. So the only reason I would be paying attention to the price is if I'm going to buy, which, yes, I still buy, but I'm not one that really cares if I have to pay $16 or if it's $17 or if it's $30. I'm still going to buy it. Yes, sometimes you want to wait if you see that it's going to be dropping. But, I understand silver's true value. And if you think $30 is too much for an ounce of silver, or too pricey, then you got a lot of learning to do, because it's much more valuable than that. So I don't even flinch if I have to buy $30 silver. Plus, when you incorporate, the after effects of, of premiums, I mean, we're already paying that much. Have investors become less gloomy about silver? Interesting question. Silver inventory in the LBMA, or London Bullion Market Association vaults, which fell in 2022 to negative 28%, has stabilized, gaining 3% year to July 2023. That indicates more institutional investors are allocating to silver this year, but from a very low base last year. Silver holding in exchange traded commodities, or ETCs, have only modestly declined in 2023, so far 4% after a 15% decline in 2022. So, Wisdom Tree have witnessed a whopping not 198% rise in silver webpage views in the 10 days to August 23rd. 2023 over the prior 10 days, possibly indicating that silver is once again grabbing the attention of ETC investors. That's actually interesting. You could do like Google, I don't know what it's called, but you could like look at how many people are Googling or looking or researching silver that day, and you can look at the past several months or several years, and you can kind of get an idea of how many people are interested in silver. That might be something that I should start looking into, just to see how many people are interested. I can usually tell by the views on my video or the amount of engagement on my channel, but that is something that I'm glad that they even thought to do. That's pretty interesting. So anyways, yeah, that's kind of what's going on right now. If you have anything else you guys want me to cover, comment down below. I appreciate all of you for sticking around, especially this far in the video. You didn't click off within the first 2 minutes thinking you know everything, because we did cover some important stuff. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe, as we are on the road to 100,000 subscribers. If you want to purchase some silver, make sure you go to Miles Franklin. Send an email to info@milesfranklin.com. Let him know I sent you. It will help you out, helps me out. Andy definitely appreciates all the support from you guys. He loves you guys. He really loves my fans, my supporters on this channel, even more particularly, because he's been such a big part of my channel the last couple of years, about almost 2 years now. And he loves taking his time out of the day to answer your guys' questions, right? And when we do a weekly podcast, he's a busy dude. He goes on Kitco News getting interviewed by Michelle McCory, and he goes on Robert Kiyosaki's podcast, and he's doing all these conventions all over the the freaking world. But he takes time out of his day to also work with me, so he puts out good stuff, good information for you all. It's not about me. It's about him wanting to tell you guys the inside scoop, as he is, a CEO of one of the largest companies, right? Can fill a $50 million order in 2 days. Nobody else in the world could pull that off. Andy Scheckman only can, because he has the connections, right? So anyways, yeah, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Thanks for tuning in. The links to these articles will be in the description. This was Silver Slayer. I will see you guys soon. Peace.